If you want to skip this fucking nerd shit, there'll be a timer down below. Just skip through it if you don't give a shit. So we're in the process of buying a second house. The shit's crazy. It's really just taking up so much of my time, and content's going to take a huge slowdown during then. I'm going to get some pre-ready stuff. Like, you're going to see probably a few outside the boxes during that time. But for the first, I want to say 3 to 4 weeks of November, it's just shit's going to be busy. It's going to be crazy. So there'll be a bit of a slowdown for content, but I'll still have stuff coming out. For the most part, it's really not going to be that big of a deal, but it's just going to be hard. Hey guys, you want to hear a joke? YouTube needs your money. I must have missed this scenario where, like, YouTube just collects all your data, gives it off to Google, and Google sells your data, and then you also pay for YouTube Red, you pay for the premium streaming services, you pay for the Google Play stuff, you pay for the store, you pay for your music, you give them information, and they still need your fucking money. Hey guys, did you know that you need to censor yourself now to get in the algorithm? Because apparently we don't know how to not steal people's money anymore. That's all we know how to do. We are YouTube. We take your money and we give it to other people because fuck you, you didn't pay us enough. I want to put a heavy disclaimer out there first that there is only one source for this information, and we don't know who the source of this information is. They just refer to them as the spokeswoman, so we don't know much about this story. But based off of the track record of YouTube and the accounts of many YouTubers, it's very likely true. Now, this is about as close to theft as you possibly can get to. Now, look, I understand there's a lot of legalese involved and there's a lot of complicated things in here, but YouTube is stealing your money for the most part. It does not matter who you are, what you believe in, what your thoughts are. You could be the most liberal person in the world, you could be the most racist person in the world. If you decide to give your money to somebody else, that is you making the transaction to give to somebody else for whatever reason that you might get. If you decide to give your money to somebody, that is called a transaction. I am transacting to you in the form of a donation, or maybe it's just like a speaking fee, or like whatever you want to call it. There's plenty of options. But if you have a company that takes that money, the money that you gave for the sole intent and the purpose of they were going to conduct a transaction for you, and they take your money and deem your message, especially a super chat in this case, to be hateful or offensive, and then they allocate the money towards other means, that is called theft. Because I didn't give that money with the intent of giving that to YouTube. I gave it with the intent of supporting a creator or supporting an idea or a message. Doesn't matter what the message is that's what I gave my money to. And for a company to decide my personal property usage against my will is a crime. And it doesn't matter how much legalese is in their terms of service or anything like that. You can't do that. So as much as this article is exceptionally easy to believe, and there is a bit of facts, like I have on screen right now with Bionic Pig tweeting this out, and I'm gonna be talking to a couple other creators to get more information on this. I hesitate to fully believe that YouTube would have the audacity to steal from you and just completely get away with it because that's what they decide. And as I've said every video amongst this point now, YouTube is fucked. Do not use super chat. Do not use that join feature unless that's really gonna help a creator out. Do not give your money to YouTube. The only thing that is fair to give YouTube money is for YouTube Red, because that is a service that you are paying for. You are paying for the Google Music, you are paying for the ad-free experience, you are paying to support the creators with more money. Everything else, do not use it. Like, you don't even have to talk to a lawyer for the sheer lack of common sense in this. And a big note I want to put out there for any creator who doesn't even believe me or maybe even trust what I'm saying. Ask yourself a really serious question. Why is a company whose sole purpose is to conduct a transaction? I am a viewer. I give my favorite YouTube creator $10. Why are they only receiving $7 of that? Where along that process does any company get the right to say that they are entitled to 30% of that? Now look, any smart person would recognize, well, there's a bank fee, you have to hire people, there's transaction that goes through, there's accounting involved. If there's any company out there, this includes Patreon or Streamlabs or any of them, that takes more than 8 to 10% of your money for a transaction, don't use them, because You are the product at that point. You are not doing a creator a service, you are not supporting them, you are giving another company money to conduct a fucking transaction. And it's the Silicon Valley bullshit that's come into everyone's mind that says, oh yeah, this is the norm, this is totally okay. It's not. I mean, if you went to McDonald's and you pay $10 for a meal, on the menu it said $10, and the next thing you know they said that'll be $13, you would be like, what? Because as we all know, tax applies up to a certain percentage in the United States. That's usually about 8 to 10% max. To tack on 20% because they have to process the fee or the transaction for you is insanity. You wouldn't stand for that from McDonald's or a convenience store or any store for that matter. Why should YouTube or any other service like Apple or Patreon be any different in this case? Now, I will give one saving grace here, and that's with YouTube Super Chat and with Twitch Bits, you get a level of security involved where you're protected from chargebacks. And as any big streamer who will tell you, chargebacks are the bane of streamers' existence. That is how people get screwed over the most. But I cannot find a reason to justify that a company having to do their diligence of finding people who do frequent chargebacks and blocking them from their service, why would that entitle them to above 15% of that? Any company that is willing to protect you from chargebacks and give you that level of peace of mind or security, they should not be entitled to anything above 15 to 20%. And if you are doing something like that, or you're supporting it because, oh, well, that's the big brand, you are a part of the problem. Now, what's the solution? Well, learn how to make your own system in place. Learn how to use PayPal. Learn how to make transactions go through. Talk to your own bank. Find a way that you can conduct safe transfers that basically guarantee that you have little to no problems with chargebacks or making sure the payments are properly processed. Yeah, you'll have to do a little bit of work, but in the end, you're not losing out on the money that people want to support you with. And then on top of that, you'll be all the wiser when it comes for when you have to file your taxes or take care of approving that payment, because you'll have all the information right there. And this is why I have said since the beginning of time in every video since, always do merchandise. Merchandise is the safest way because that is called a transaction. You paid me for a product, you get the product, and I make a bit of percentage profit off of the product you buy. Simple as can fucking be. Again, I do want to make a mention that there is only one article written about this that I have been able to find so far. We don't know who the spokeswoman is that talked about this from YouTube's end, but based off of the creators and the evidence that's been posted around on sites like Twitter and Facebook, we can kind of see that this is true. And whether you call it straight out theft or potential embezzlement, it needs to stop. And every creator needs to turn off Super Chat. You all need to learn that you should not support Super Chat. You should not do the join button. If people really do need money to survive, go use Patreon. I'm not a fan of Patreon, but guess what? It's better than YouTube taking 30% of their money and deciding that if your message isn't within the acceptable range, that they have the right to your money. No, that's theft. And I desperately await the day where Google gets sued because they think they can keep doing this and not fucking step on people's toes.